I'm very surgical, physical when I'm lyrical. So bat it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights for some spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Yeah. Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
Good evening, this is Sakura A and I'm with Boxing Playhouse. And tonight we're celebrating the ladies. All the ladies that's paved the way and still doing great things for combat sports, as well as women representing us well. And since this is the month of March and we are actually dealing with the month of women and ladies and all of the beautiful flowers that we all have, then, of course, this is our special edition to help celebrate the month. I have with me to my left, I have Brenda Zaragoza, the combat sports queen of California, Oxnard, baby. She's in the house with us tonight. She's also going to be my co-host. And then I have Olga Camacho, baby. And of course, she is our prior wrestler and now motivational speaker. And I have Martha Salazar. How am I saying that, Martha? Salazar?
Salazar.
There you go. I love Martha. She is our retired boxer champion, who's also involved in boxing and mentoring young ladies in the sport in the California area too. And then, of course, I have Graciela. Oh, yes, Casillas. Oh, I love her name so much. The beautiful, amazing, talented instructor, defense coordinator, just all around teacher, an amazing woman representing all of us ladies well. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes. Well, tonight we got to talk about some of the lead-in conversations of the day with the ladies in sports. I mean, we got some Amanda Serrano out there. We got other big champions like Katie Taylor. We got Alicia Baumgardner, Clarissa Shields. And then we have our wrestlers and our UFC ladies that's paving the way. Some of these women are cross promoting by marketing themselves in both disciplines. What do you guys like about what's going on today with women's boxing that you wish could have been the same when you guys were participating?
Well, for one, they're making a lot more money than when I was fighting back in the 70s and 80s. And I think it's great that women's boxing has progressed to the point that it has. Back in the day when I was fighting, we were lucky if we got $100 a round. So we always went for the 10 rounders because at least you'd walk away with a little bit of money. But I think it's great that, women are advocating for themselves more, and that really society is seeing women in contact sports as more acceptable when in the past it was not.
Mm-hmm. I have actually heard some horror stories about things that women actually had to go through in order to fight. And some of them included like really excessive physician checks and physicals that some women had to prove they were really women, and just all kinds of like horror stories. So for today's women, it does seem like it's quite a bit of a jump in a short amount of time. And I totally agree with you that, definitely equal pay is something that, we're trying to become more equal in that way. And it's an area where I wish that we could go back and give some paychecks out to ladies like you guys, because you're definitely owed some more coins.
Oh yeah, I mean, back in the days, I sometimes I didn't when I fought, I didn't even get paid for it. The promoter would run out and, where's my money? I don't know. You're not getting paid, so I will fight for free. But I love the sport, so it wouldn't matter if I got paid or not. I enjoyed the fighting and traveling for free. Get to meet new people and new countries and all that. So it was bad, but it was good at the same time.
Marta, you mean to tell me you didn't go find that promoter and whip his behind?
No, man, not enough time. I was so sore, and I was like, oh man, my promoter, my manager's the one that's supposed to go do that, but we like, what can we do? He's gone. He don't got the money, so we just try to be better on the next fight.
Got it. I mean, unfortunately I've been to some shows that still has that issue where you kind of see the promoter, you know, running to the side door exit. So it's still some out there that much hasn't changed on that front. But I definitely hear what you're saying. It was the love of the sport that made you continue.
Yep.
But
Anybody else?
I just want to add something to what Martha just said. It's unfortunate that we as fighters, as boxers, did not value ourselves enough to demand that we were paid. And I think that's a big change, because we never made the money, but we took the beating. And even whether we won our fights or not, I think it's unfortunate, especially women of color, that we were not treated the same as, I know when I was fighting, I'm going to say it, if you were blonde and blue eyed, you were treated better. If you were Latina or any other race, you weren't treated the same. And I think it starts with us, because we didn't value ourselves enough to put our foot down, because we were also afraid that, I know that if I complained about not getting expense money or not getting paid more, they would just say, well, you know what? So don't fight. We don't need you. We're doing you a favor. And I heard that over and over and over. And so that's why, again, I say I'm glad to see that. I know I've talked to some fighters that are still involved on some level. I talked to Lucia Riker a few years back, and I remember, and she was a phenomenal boxer and kickboxer. And she had said to me, it hasn't changed that much. You have the few women that are making the money, but then you have so many that are still not making the money.
Right.
Yeah, that's totally true. And some of the aspects of what you were saying is also true, where there's more backing for women that look a certain way and have a certain traditional aesthetic. I'll put it nicely. But we all know that everybody loves the Latin and the black women now, and we are like, listen, they need to update what they consider beauty as, because the men have definitely updated. They like us. Yeah. I wish that could change for some women that don't have the look as much as as some of the beauty queen type looking women. And there's no shade against them for getting the money that they can get. It's just, it's like, hey, you guys that are promoters, you gotta like try to incorporate more than just one look.
Yeah, but now, I mean, it has improved a little bit. I mean, even though it's just a little bit, but at least some of the women are getting paid more than what we did.
Oh, absolutely.
And we pay that way so other women can get better and get more pay. So hopefully, maybe in another 5 or 10 years, they'll be equal as the men.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing if it was. I mean, and definitely we do have some Latinos that are getting more opportunities and more investment dollars behind their careers. And then we have, women like Clarissa Shields and Alicia that are paving the way for African American women too. So there is some movement, but we need more, ladies. We got to have more.
Definitely. It's happening. It's going to happen,
Sooner or later.
Like all the time, although now we have the transgender issue that, they're fighting women. And so, that's another going back again, we move forward.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because, I'm all for equality for everyone. I just, I feel like they should have their own category and fight within them similarly crafted people. That's what I feel like. I don't feel that they should have an unfair advantage fighting women. And definitely, if a woman does decide she doesn't mind fighting a transgender, they should be given the right to decide yes or no, not just thrown in there and then they find out right before they're supposed to fight.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like what the day before that lady, the fighter that was gonna found out that she was fighting transgender,
Mm-hmm. Like,
and I think she just found out just before her fighting, and she backed off of it. But that should have been up to the manager and everybody, to come forward and give them the honest, the truth that you're not fighting a woman, you're fighting a
yeah,
man,
Yep. Yep.
and
yeah,
that's
for
not cool.
sure.
That is so not cool, I mean, because then it makes all us women want to jump that man, woman, whatever, you
Mhm.
know.
Well, anything that is an unfair advantage to me, because I'm a boxing girl. So anything that I find is an unfair advantage for one opponent over the other, I'm not for it. And that includes some things that I've been seeing lately with these catch weights and different little tricks and
Right.
you got people that's really cruiserweights, but they're fighting at middle or super weight because they can make it for the weigh-in, and then the night of the fight they're like way bigger than their opponents. That's, to me, is an example of an unfair advantage. So
Yeah.
that definitely would fit into that category of unfairness when someone has a different physique than you naturally have as a woman.
Right.
True.
I think that management and whoever the team that you have should be the one taking care of all that and making sure that your fight is right and the weight's
Yeah.
right and all that, because you can't be worrying about all that when you were about to fight.
Not the
So I
fighter,
think
exactly.
having a good team and communicate with everybody will be a best thing to have, I guess. But sometimes we don't have that kind of team. As we.
Hmm. Yeah, like who's looking out for you? I mean, I want to get on that subject actually of managements and coaches and trainers, teachers that are out there, and how you pick a good team to be with you. I mean, I know you guys probably have been through some of people that you wish you hadn't have trusted, and others that you feel like, dang, I should have worked with them instead of this guy or this female. Can you share a little bit about that individually for us, and give, at the same time, give some positive words and tips on the next generation and how they should approach finding a good team?
Let's go with Gracelia.
I don't want to take up all the time here, but I will say this, that I feel that I was fortunate because my trainer was Jimmy Montoya, and I felt fortunate that I ended up with him because he was a good trainer, but he also looked out for me. And I think what's missing at times, and I tell young boxers, you need to make sure you connect with someone that really is looking out for your best interests. That's not just trying, I want to say the word, it's not going to prostitute you, that's not going to just throw you out there, but it's going to really look out for you. And what does looking out for you mean? Means that they're going to really assess your opponents, to not throw you in there with somebody who has 40 fights and you're still green. Somebody that's I mean, young boxers, not all can afford an attorney. Can't afford, I never had any attorneys. I just sign here, okay, fine, whatever, I'm getting paid something, I was happy. And they're paid for the room and the transportation. What else could we possibly want for?
Yeah.
So I think just having your ducks in a row, knowing what is needed. And it's interesting because recently I met Alan Santana, who was a boxer. Turned out that he used to train at the Olympic boxing gym at the same time I did, and he wrote a book on just that. It's a book that you can get on Amazon, and it's about taking care of yourself, knowing how to protect yourself, knowing how to look at contracts, knowing how to pick your team. And I think we need more of that, and we need young people to be aware that trainers are very influential, and sometimes it's hard to step away and say, is this person really looking out for me? And it even starts in the gym. If in the gym you're being used as a sparring partner for others, and you're not really they're not looking out for you, I used to see that happen more with the men than with the women, that the boxers would be used as, fresh meat. I need, my fighter needs 10 rounds from you, or my fighter needs 5 rounds from you. And so, they'd get the rounds, but they weren't really invested in that particular boxer. They were just using them.
Yeah.
So, the boxing world is not known as a nice world. It's very shady, and it's very political, and a lot goes on that people don't talk about. So that's why I believe it's really important, especially women, to have a strong team, or if it's one person, if it's one trainer, if it's, manager, that they are looking out for the best interests of that fighter.
And that includes, I'm not a boxer, but that also includes insurance, because nobody talks about insurance, and you don't know, you're hoping for the best, but if something bad were to happen, then you need to be protected as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree, Olga and Graciela. I think that it's just amazing that you guys can give us that interpretation, and that it's still like a situation where boxing could be a little less corrupt.
That's not going to ever happen
throughout.
That will never happen.
Yeah,
for thousands of years, that's not. You can just hope for the best, that you have protection around you, and that you have people looking out for you.
We have some comments,
that's where you say, we have to teach ourselves, we have to empower our girls and talk to them about these possibilities, that we need to protect ourselves, and we educate ourselves and empower by reading and by asking a lot from other people. It's like, no, I want to learn more about how to invest what I'm winning. I want to know more how to insurance, and because I feel that a lot of people, that goes for men and women, they get to the top and they don't know how to maintain it, how to save the money, and next thing you know, they're on the street.
Yeah, if you're not raised and you don't have the cultural capital that other people have, then we're not going to know what to do. And that's what you see. That's sad, that they make money, and then later on in life, they don't have much to show for it. And that's another very important aspect that you mentioned, is we need to be educated on how to preserve
financial education. Yeah. I think that's totally right, because we have organizations now that we all have to, volunteer for and help out, so that they can assist former boxers and former combat sports, people that have no money, or haven't invested well, or, have brain injuries, all kinds of things that's going on. And, I just feel like there has to be something where you can take a percentage of people's money and go into a fund for, even just to be able to assist in an emergency. Right now, we're relying on different organizations to do what boxing community actually made money off of. So it should be more of them. Now, the WBC Cares is one organization that I definitely have to give their props to, because they help a lot of former champions, or people that have not even been champions but were in the rankings with the WBC. So I do have to mention them. I'm not talking about their organization, because they do put a lot of effort and time and money in it. But there's some other people that are making big money, and I just don't see where that investment dollar is going back into, any percentage is going back into assisting those that had blood, sweat, and tears and money taken from them,
Yeah, that's why, Blanca, with the beautiful brawlers, we always talk to the girls, since we bring girls from all over the world and we make the show. We try to explain them on how to save, and then, what to do and how to get their own team, and what to look for. So, Blanca's done a lot of great things with the beautiful brawlers, and explain to them what to do, and, what to look for as a trainer, and how they get treated and all that. So, we do little things here and there too, as everybody does, try to help the new fighters and the new careers and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful. And that's what we need more of. And it needs to be something where, maybe West Coast can show some, instructors or teachers on the East Coast what they do to try to incorporate that, and vice versa. Like we need to be sharing more ideas on what we can do to inform the next group of talent that's out there. So that's a great way to do it, Marta, and I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Miss Brenda, like you're supposed to be my co-host. I'm gonna let the next question be yours, darling. What do you have for us?
I just I've been kind of evaluating everything about the boxing and martial arts, but I mean just the sport itself, that
Mhm.
you have the boxer or you have the person that is being trained by the trainer. The trainer is supposed to focus on that person, not to be keeping an eye on, everything else, because their eye should be on the individual. Then you got the manager. The manager is supposed to manage of what is going to go on with your next fights or what's going on, the to and from type of thing. And then you got who's the other person, usually it's the promoter, right? But the promoter ends up, like Martha says, taking the money and going out the other door, you know.
Mhm.
But that's where that other person is missing. That what are they gonna? They're gonna look after them with the best interest, like if it was themselves. Because if you don't
Mhm.
do that, then that's where they won't go that far. I know that I have um, took involved with the legends of a meet and greet here in LA, which I belong with
Mhm.
Gene Aguilera and Chris Smith, and we all get together maybe once a month. I've been kind of out of it because of other things, medical and stuff with myself. But when I go, it's we start finding out that you get the boxers that have illnesses, that are disabled, and all this other stuff, and we kind of put some money in a little cubby and send it away to them. We got Benitas and quite a other ones that are in need, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and that's just
Yeah.
one thing, is that if everybody, and I was kind of throwing a calculation, and maybe somebody could help me out. If somebody was to give a penny, how many people are in the US? Have we ever figured that one out? But if
Mm.
they had given a penny
Population of the
each,
U.S., right?
yeah, just the US, if they would give a penny each, how much money would that be
A lot of
for
money.
support? Lots
Yeah.
of money, right? I believe that they need insurance. I think when I got involved into the more into this, and it really touched me, was Jeanette Zapata. She was that 21-year-old or 20-year-old that she was from Mexico, and she fought in Canada. They did not um, oversee, or I should say, her manager, or maybe her trainer, which was her husband. I don't know, but someone in there. She was knocked out 3 months prior, before fighting in Canada, and it was not it was not listed. It wasn't notified to the judges in Canada. So she goes into the ring, she gets knocked out. She's comatose. She dies. 20
Oh,
years old, 21 years old, you know,
I
and
remember that. Yeah,
and
because she said
got
some statement
out.
like, "I want to die in the ring" or something. She was saying like
She
she
didn't.
didn't
I
care.
mean, it wasn't really up to her. I mean, it was up to
Yeah.
her. Yes, she could have backed off of it, but yet, I mean, they
They
needed
hid
another
the
person.
medical records that showed that she had fought with too close to the date of that fight. That's what
Exactly.
happened. I remember that case. But
Right.
that's why BoxRec is like starting to be a lot more accurate when it comes to listing, when somebody's suspended, and they're like putting it at the top of their name when you look up their record and stuff now. So it's easily visible, but then you still got some shows where they're not reporting things the way they should. So it's you're right. That's why a team is important to say no, you're not gonna do this, not this soon. No.
Now, I'm a non-boxer. Where
Sure.
and if, let's say I get into boxing, where would I go to check the record of this person, my
Yeah,
trainer?
it's a website called boxrec.com, and they have an amateur record. They now have bare knuckle record, and then they also have boxing records. So you can follow somebody's career as well. So
But
so
if
That's
you
good to
go, if
know.
you were
I
to
mean,
go to fight
because
in Mexico, then they don't know the record. You don't, they can say that she only
exactly.
has two fights, and maybe she had
mhm.
more than two fights. Maybe she had 25 fights. I've
Mhm.
seen that, in some occasions, and where, oh yeah, she only has three fights, and then they have somebody that has only one fight, and then at the end we find out that she had 25 fights already.
Right. Like she
You know?
has some overseas fights. Or another
Yes,
good one is when they're in the
exactly.
military. When they're in the military, a
Hmm.
lot of those fights were not calculated into box rec. So that was a hidden fights that somebody might not know about when they get in the ring, which is also pretty dangerous.
Yeah. And we would like to have like more like Blanca Gutierrez, that she knows all the fighters, and the
Yep.
fight she gets all the info. I don't know how she does it, but she has all the info. Somebody say, oh, she only has two. Oh no, I know she has more than two fights. So she'll be like, no, my fighter can't fight her, or stuff like that. But Blanca, she knows all about boxing, and because of her too, some of our fighters don't fight because we know that the other fighters has more experience than our fighters. So we
Oh
always try
yeah.
to look for the best of our fighters, and she does a great job on it too.
Right, exactly. It's like try to contact somebody that's, in the same area that this particular boxer you're gonna have as an opponent, try to find out, do some recognizance,
Yeah.
you wanna
Make
you
connection.
wanna know a little bit more about your opponent. You gotta like, hey, do you know such and such? Have you seen her fight before? How
Yeah.
many fights you think she's had? Like there, and Bianca is one lady that you can call, and she'll almost definitely know what if they had some type of amateur
Yeah.
experience or something.
Exactly. So she's good. Yeah.
Well, we got Danny Santiago. That's our
Hey, Danny,
champion
how's it
who does the
going?
Latin America podcast with us. He says, "Hey, ladies, many blessings
Hello.
to you."
Hola, hola.
We have CJ, and he says, "Thank you for your contributions to the sweet science."
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Rosalinda
you.
says, "Good evening. Playhouse Queens, champions in boxing is always an honor and a privilege." Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
got referee, Florida Boxing Commission referee, Alicia Collins. It says, "Yes, I love this."
Awesome.
Hey, girl. And then we got Coach Willie Vargas, who is also going to be inducted into our Florida Boxing Hall of Fame this year in June. He says,
Oh,
"Hello, ladies."
congratulations.
Congratulations, William. We'll see you there.
Yeah.
And he also says we need to teach these men and women that their career won't last forever and they need to invest their money for the future.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Life insurance, man, with savings. It's one of the best.
Pension.
We got
Yeah.
our 6-time champion, thanks to her win at the beginning of the month with the NBA title. She has 6 world champion titles now. Chevy Hallback, baby. And she's in the house tonight with us. Congratulations, lady. She broke a
Congratulations.
world
Congratulations.
record. This is a world record
Congratulations.
that she broke at the
Yeah.
Guinness. Yeah, not
No.
bad.
Awesome.
Oh,
Now
Danny is
with
saying that he fell victim to this. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I feel victim to this. I'm looking at Danny's.
He said, I fell victim to this. He was talking
Oh,
about when
I
you have a
felt I
trainer
felt
and you're
victim.
not,
Okay, gotcha.
you think you got the right team behind you, but then you find out you don't.
Mm.
Because he had a run where he had like his first 18 fights, he won all of them. And so as soon as he had his first loss, I believe it was his 19th fight, he says that that's when he learned, like, hey, where is everybody? My coach left me. This guy left me. He's like, I'm just in you know, the venue by myself all of a sudden for the first time. And he said that's when he realized, like, where's my people? So he
Yeah.
always
Also,
says that story.
also as fighters, we got to do our homework too on the trainers, on the school that we go to. I mean, people talk, and if you ask questions, I mean, somebody will tell you like, "Oh no, don't get the coach," or he's a good coach, But we as fighters too, we gotta, do our homework also. I know back when I started, I mean, I only had one trainer, but he was the best trainer, and I was lucky, I guess. And then, of course, black ass manager, so. You just gotta ask questions a lot and feel the energy from the coach if he has the right interest for you or it's just for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So he learned the hard way because he had such a great run of wins that it wasn't until things didn't go as planned that he
Right.
saw the other side.
That happens, yeah.
Then he says, I really thought the money would never run out, too. I
Wrong.
bet you he did, being that he was on the contender and, having such luck with different fights that he got with Antonio Tarver, et cetera, et cetera. I think he had like 3 Roy Jones fights scheduled that they all fell through. Money he was counting on. So Danny got a real story to tell. Chevelle says she remembered that too, when she thought the money was gonna last forever.
You
Well,
know that
we think that we're invincible, and like Marta said, we're just grateful. I'm traveling, and they're giving me clothes and shoes. Like, wow, I can do this. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah, and with the you were a professional wrestler, right, Olga?
No, I was in the national team,
National team.
1995, 96, and we got to travel on the world team member. I was a world team member. I got to travel, and for me, I was a dream come true. I have come from Mexico. I didn't speak English, and now
Wow.
I'm in the U.S. team. What the heck? And I'm traveling. I was amazing.
Yeah.
I was very grateful and thankful. So, but it wasn't professional, and then I retired in '98, and
Mhm.
wrestling did not go into the Olympics until 2004. But I
Wow.
am very grateful. Now I will be coaching in community college, women's head coach for the first time ever since 1969. They're going to have a women's program. It's
Yes, go girl.
yes,
Nice.
one of the
Yes.
women's sports that are growing up. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's a dream come true, but it has come a long way. It has taken people like you ladies, pioneers, that they have fight for the rights of boxers in your case. But in my case, there are some other women that are behind me. I was a pioneer, but there were other ones behind me as well, before me, and I'm thankful for that as well, for them.
I mean, you're breaking barriers when it comes to, like, actually securing positions. Like that coaching position. That's like breaking a major barrier for, some little girl that's like, I want to be a coach. Why not?
So
Yes.
this is when we need to be ready as well. We need to keep going pasito a pasito, like the little turtle, a little
Mhm.
step here and there, and next thing you know, you get there. And because the opportunities are there, but you have to be ready to grab them. Because let's say I didn't have a master's or I didn't have a
Mhm.
BA. It doesn't matter if I was a wrestler, I didn't have the background to go there. So it took me a long time while I was, raising my kids and working hard, but one step at a time, it was done.
And you in.
Absolutely. I
yeah, I
mean,
have a
I like
question.
that. Be
I have,
ready.
I have a question with Olga. Olga, do you think it's benefit to a wrestler to take martial arts
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
while
you gotta
wrestling?
be all around jiu-jitsu,
Mhm.
judo, everything. I know everything finished on the mat, on the floor, but my goodness, it's a well-rounded person should have all the all the martial arts for sure.
I think it's beneficial for martial artists to study wrestling.
Yeah.
Because everything finished on the floor, right?
Right.
Every fight.
Grappling, what's what they call it?
Wrestling.
Grappling. Yes. So,
Grappling.
we need to be all around people. person,
Okay.
humans. And yes, we love our hobby, but we need to empower ourselves by doing different things, like Graciela.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's an all-around powerhouse, and we want to hear a little bit more about your career as well. Like, tell us a little bit more, Graciela.
Well, I was fighting in the 70s and I retired in 1986. At that time, last thing because they wouldn't license women to fight more than 6 rounds in California, I did my first fight 1979 at the sports arena and my last at the Forum. In between, I had to went to Vegas a lot, had to go out of the country to fight because they wouldn't sanction the fights for us to fight more rounds, and retired. And the last thing I ever did that I'm always, I have fond memories of, it's that at the time Hector Camacho Sr. was also training with Montoya. So I got to do a boxing exhibition with him in Florida, and it was a 3-rounder. And he was working with me, obviously, kind of, playing. And I remember getting a little cocky, and I think I hit him once. And he made me pay very quickly to kind of put me in check and say, hey, cuidado, remember, I'm working with you. This is not real. This is not for real. And so somewhere, if I've been looking for, I have, the athletic commission would had to license you even if you were doing an exhibition. And when I showed up with him, they thought, "Are you crazy?" And if you knew Camacho, he was a very sensational person. And when he wanted to do something, he was going to do it. And it was a benefit. And when they said, no way, he said, well, I'm out of here. And so the next thing I knew, it's somewhere I have a little on my, what the athletic commission would give us, the cards with our fights and our opponents. And I had on their opponent, Hector Camacho. And so it was really cool. I mean, obviously it wasn't a real fight, but but it was still 3-rounder. And so, I've spent my life, teaching, and I always, because I was so terrified of my family being on my case about fighting, that's what kept me in school. It wasn't that I believed getting a degree, because I have a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees. I wasn't thinking in terms of it being something to fall back on. It was to keep my family off my back. But in spite of myself, going to school did help me. So when I retired, I was able to go into education and become an academic counselor and later a professor. But, in terms of fighting, whether it's boxing, whether it's sport, and I had a school for many years, and I closed during COVID and chose not to reopen. But I've always believed that you have to look at things as, art, sport, and street. And I think especially as women, one of the best things that you could do to prepare you for street or self-defense is start with boxing, because boxing is a tremendous art that teaches you, body mechanics. It teaches you how to generate power, which smaller people against bigger people need. And so I think today, as an instructor, that I believe students and practitioners should be well-rounded. And well-rounded means you know how to use your hands, you know how to use your feet, you understand range, and you know how to use weaponry. And more important, because even if you're never going to carry a knife or a gun, if you understand and you've trained with it, your chances of surviving, if ever attacked with any of those, are much greater. And so when I teach everything from tactical self-defense to firearms, and I love the boxing, I definitely always start with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you had a great run with it, even for only 4-rounders. I mean, but that's a shame.
Oh, no. We never fought. I never fought a 4-rounder. I just had to go out of state to fight the 10-rounders. I went my first fight. My first fight was 6 rounds, and 2 weeks later, I was fighting 10 rounds, and it went the distance. So, but I had to go to Texas. It was not it was just in California, where they were just really, we had to fight 2-minute rounds. And which is so ridiculous about that. It's that we know that women have far superior stamina than men do. And so it's ironic that, they would hold us back and say, no, you're only going to fight 2-minute rounds, not 3-minute rounds. And you're only going to fight 6 rounds max, not 10 rounds. So that's why I went out of state. Las Vegas, of course, was a lot more flexible. They didn't care. They wanted the fights.
Fight,
They
yeah.
wanted
You
to
wanted
fight.
action.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, California is still pretty strict, like they haven't changed that mentality of being more stern when it comes to men and women now, apparently. Some of the things that I've been hearing they're trying to adopt, which is like, staying in your weight range. If you're going to be an active fighter, that's one thing that I've been hearing that they're toying with, making mandatory. So, I mean, they're still pretty strict over there. I mean, but for you to have to go overseas too, like I was hearing that from Chevelle Hallback in particular, like that she had a lot of great experiences. Oh, Naomi Vasquez too, where they just like had most of their careers, like, just jumping from Canada to, Germany to wherever they needed to be to get the fights. So that is something.
Mhm. And just like it was said earlier, when you're fighting, and I don't know about the rest of the ladies, but I didn't come up with any with money in my family. So on my own, I never would have thought of going to Japan or to Hong Kong or to these other countries. So that's where we justified it. We said, okay, we're not getting paid money, but we're getting put up in the beautiful 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
We're getting fed. We're getting money to run around, and that's where the trade-off was. As Martha was saying, we got to go places that, growing up in a family of originally 12, prune picking family, I wasn't ever going to go anywhere on my own. And so that did give me opportunities to be exposed to the rest of the world that I would have had no purpose to go, and definitely no money to get there. So that was, I had the same attitude. I don't care if I get paid or not. I love boxing and I get to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now being older and more mature, I think, God, how ridiculous that was. We should have demanded the money also, but
Yeah.
Right.
but we were satisfied with the excitement of being able
Mhm.
to travel. And first time I ever got on a plane, I was flying to Japan, and it was like, wow, so that was pretty
Yeah.
cool back then.
Yeah, that is always cool. That's cool
Yeah.
today. If somebody's going to pay for you to, travel the world, I mean, and then you
Mhm.
get to kick somebody's ass too.
You weren't always traveling the world. It was few and far between, but we did get to go places.
Yeah.
hmm
Places
And
that
did you have fights in
go.
Mexico too?
I did. I did fight Mexico, yes, but I didn't box in Mexico. I had to kickbox because at that time they weren't allowing any women to box in Mexico.
Okay. That's your
So
puppy back there. He's making an appearance.
oh yeah, that's Delilah. What's going on there?
He's cute. That's a cutie. Yeah, she's a future,
I'm in her
movie
spot.
star. Yeah. Martha, let's hear about your career and how you liked, traveling and doing the things you dreamed about doing as a boxer.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. Like I said, even if I didn't get paid, but it was fun. Get to places that I never thought I would go, and so it was nice, and we had a lot of fun. Even though even if we win or lose, we had a blast after and before, meet new
Mhm.
people, and so now I'm a truck driver, and so I'm still traveling and know more places that I wouldn't think I would go to, little towns that I didn't know they were existed in California or in the United States, and then of course I help Blanca Gutierrez into what she has the beautiful brawlers. So that's the way I help out with the boxing area, helping them out and teaching them certain things and give them the information and the experience that we had as we started our boxing career and things that they should look for and so yeah, that's me.
I saw one of your beautiful brawlers recently, and her name is Zarina McCoy. She was
Yeah.
a brawler, but now she's professional. And I was like amazed she was on Top Rank, but she was on Top Rank as Cash Flow Diaz's girlfriend. I was like, what?
Oh.
When did this happen?
Oh
A little
wow.
boxing romance, and of course, I'm segueing, ladies. That means I want to hear the tea about how easy it was to find men in your time period, being that you were in like a unicorn. I mean,
Find
men love that.
they wanted
Somebody
nothing to do with you.
and whatever. I need to hear some juice. I need to hear that tea. I don't have tea tonight, but I just have some water. But I will be sipping. Who's first, Miss Brenda? I know you got a
No, no,
story or
no, no,
two.
not me.
Oh, that
Well,
means she
let's
got
see.
something
I
really
go. I'm
juicy.
gonna be really fast. I
Okay.
met my husband, and of course, they're all, oh my gosh, you're a wrestler. Yes, they love you, right? They want you. But then, oh, I don't want you wrestling anymore.
Oh,
You
oh
know,
no,
it's
they
like,
didn't. For
I
real?
know. That's how, unfortunately, some men are. They want you all to themselves. So, but I mean, in a way, for me, I was kind of at the end of the rope, anyways. So,
Uh-huh.
not at the end of the rope, but I was like ready to have kids. So I'm like,
Okay,
okay,
that's a big transition there when you
okay,
wanna.
you win. But no, you didn't. And then I've been happily married since 1990. I met 1996. We got married in 99. So thank God, we have 4 kids, and I'm
Mhm.
blessed to have a beautiful family.
I mean, I've always wondered, like, I mean, there's some women that can have a baby and they still are able to do MMA, UFC, and I don't hear as much about it in boxing. Is that because, you just don't get that same fatigue and physique and stamina, or is it more about the time and, dedicating to your new baby? Like, what exactly is it that holds women back now from like having a baby and a family but still boxing? Is it just a time restraint thing?
I'm thinking
Well,
it's a personal matter.
Gracelia has 2 daughters, two older
Right.
daughters.
But I spent most of my life training and fighting and teaching. I waited and got all of that out of my system. I was
Mhm.
38 when I had my first.
Oh
So
wow!
yeah.
Congratulations on that. I mean, I would have been really scared that it wasn't gonna happen at that point. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, like wow, that's really amazing. And Marta, what do you got to say? I
Well,
mean, you're not skipping, girl. I know
I
you
don't
had some rendezvous too.
I don't have any kids, but I do have a stepdaughter. I have a partner. I met her back in 2005, and of course, I always dedicated myself to the first sport that I played was basketball. So I played
Okay.
most of my life, college and everything, playing basketball. Then after that, I fell in love with boxing, and in 2005, I met my girl. Her name is Monica. She's
Mhm.
European from Hungary, and she had a daughter. So
Nice.
I've been with her since 2005 and still with her. So,
She's a little shy because I don't see many pictures with you and her together.
oh,
Tell her I need a picture. I want to see y'all
I'm gonna start
together.
putting more pictures on there. She has some Facebook.
Yeah.
I got my Facebook, so yeah.
Hmm. Yes. I'm
But we
all
will.
for, loving whoever you want to love.
That's
No
right.
problems with me. I want to see some loving couples.
Yeah.
And did you meet her in boxing? Was she also in boxing or
No, she don't
basketball?
play any sports. No, she just went to college and then she.
She's the opposite. It's like
Yes,
opposite attract.
opposite. Yes, yes. Yeah, girly girl. She don't do none of that.
Well, what do you know? I'm back with Brenda. Brenda, who you got, girl? I know you have some. I listen. This is
Okay,
we.
I was the street fighter.
Yes.
Okay, so I only went into what they called back in the day the boys club. My uncle was the trainer. I
Okay.
started boxing since I was 4. My dad taught me and relatives of the males. But I think when I was 12, I got a call from my uncle, and he says, "Hey, I'll give you 75 cents if you can come over here and beat this guy up." So I'd go to the back door, and
uh,
and he would put the gear on me, and he'd tie my hair up so the guy wouldn't know that I was a girl. I finally got caught, I think, on the 4th fight, going in there. And because the boy said that I beat him up, and he told his mom, and a girl wasn't supposed to be in there.
uh,
So from there on, I just, I think I kind of took my anger out, of what I was going through of life, period, being young, divorced family type of thing, and a lot of
Mhm.
abuse, and I think just fighting helped me, you know. And I mean, I could laugh at it now because I think it was pretty dumb. Some of the things that I got myself into just
Uh-huh.
really, I mean, why? Why? Why did I fight for that person? I mean, or why did I get jumped by that person because of this other person? And they
Yeah.
don't live with the scars. I have to live with them.
Right. I mean, but out of one of those situations, one of those guys didn't get turned on from you being able to spank his behind.
Oh, I broke his nose.
You broke his nose.
Yeah, and it was funny
Woo.
because he ended up marrying my cousin.
Oh,
For 75 cents. He
You
got
beat
his
him up
nose
too much.
broken.
He didn't last. He was, it was just something else. It was, excuse me, that wasn't that one. It was another one. Okay, but there's, I just, I was not nice. Okay, it just was not nice. I just, I could think about it now, and I'm glad that my sons didn't do that.
Okay.
I didn't have any daughters, but I now
Mhm.
have granddaughters, and they're being raised by their mama and daddy, which they're doing a darn good job, and there's sports. I don't think I'm going to get a fighter.
mm.
Do you think
And the
you
right
can
way.
encourage your granddaughter to, get some defense? Because
Well,
we're
I
going
took
to wrap
one.
up on time, but we want to talk about how important it is,
Well, I
especially since
do, but
you.
it's not my doing because they're the
Mhm.
parents. I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
only say so much. It's up to the parents to see if they
Mhm.
want their child to do with their daughters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
I mean, I would
remember.
want that. I mean, because I think of their safety all the time.
Yeah, I remember. I
I'm
think.
afraid. I mean, if anything happened to those girls, oh my God, I just really would be unglued. I think I'd have to call all you ladies up and say, "Come on, I need you."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Gracie, Gracelia. Um, one time, I'll tell you something that was really funny because I met up with her at Starbucks. Remember that time, Gracelia? We
Mhm.
went to Starbucks and we had coffee. And I always watched my back. Coming from the streets, you watch your back a lot. You have to. And there was these two guys walking in front of us, and it was like, God, I was already catching on to it. Like, But then I looked at her and I says, "Why am I scared? I'm with this chick that can take 10 guys." And I could just watch.
She's
You
like,
know,
I got to like secure my own security right now.
I just need her. That's it.
Uh,
But it was just the biggest thing, and I just laughed to myself because I'm just like, this is really, she has come so far for us, especially in the 805, because she was not recognized here very
Uh-huh.
much. She was not, and that really upset me because, others claimed that they were the boxers here. No, they weren't. And I remember grabbing you one time. Hey, get your sweats on. I don't care, but come to the park. And it wasn't to fight. Remember, and it was to meet the other boxers. And it was with
Well,
Mikey
y'all
Garcia.
a great time then. I see now we're getting somewhere.
But no, I needed to show them that, hey, no, she's not. Let me bring one in, you know. So then here comes Gracie. Next thing you know, there she is, I mean, there she
The
is.
funny part is some of those boxers, the Garcias, had taken classes with me at the college. They had to take a PE class in order to graduate to get their associate's degree. And they're my jujitsu class, and I'm like, "What are you doing in this class?" And they go, "I need it for graduation." I go, "Okay."
So
So
I wanted to end the
we
show
had
by
pretty good fun
talking.
times.
I'm
I'm
What's
sorry.
sorry,
that?
Brenda.
I
I
says
was
we
saying
had.
I wanted to end the show with us talking about how women need to take more serious, and girls need to take more seriously, being able to defend themselves. So since we have Graciela with us here, I wanted to just get her take on it since she's an actual instructor. and have her just tell us how important it is for us to know a couple of maneuvers.
Well, I think it's very important for all people to be able to defend themselves. But the reality of it is, if you're not going to physically train consistently, you may be at a disadvantage. So I always say that you have to train the mind before you train the body. And I also say that I would put my money on somebody that had the attitude and the mindset of, you're not going to mess with me, than even somebody that has a black belt. So even if someone doesn't train consistently, if they have that survival attitude, good chance nobody's gonna seek them out and victimize them, because it is a proven fact that how someone chooses a victim is based on how you carry yourself. If you and it's kind of sad, because I look around and you see so many young women walking around, not looking, crossing the street, buried in their cell phones. Sometimes I deliberately don't move to see if they're going to bump right into me, and then they get startled and they walk around me. They don't pay attention. They have no concept what situational awareness is. And in reality, I would say probably 80% of situations could be avoided if a person were just looking around and paying attention. And, when we say paying attention, that means understanding and knowing what to look for, because we've always been told, ten cuidado, pay attention, but we're not taught what to look for. And in self-defense, you have to be trained to know, you have to observe for a purpose. You have to know that if it's really hot outside and some dude's walking towards you with his hands in his pocket, I would be worried. What's in his hands? If you learn how to read body language and facial expressions and micro expressions, things like that, that's information that somebody could get. One, if they read my book, it's in there, but also, just learning how to prepare yourself mentally. If you can do that, that's going to increase your chances of surviving if ever approached by someone. But more importantly, you won't be a victim.
Well, guys, Dalia only has a few seconds here, so we're going to let her say
Bring her on.
Dalia?
Hey, guys.
Hey, sis.
Hello.
Hey, well, I'm so sorry. I'm still at work, so I'm sneaking out real quick. And Martha, Brenda, Olga, Graciela, Sakura, thank you so much for everything that you do. You have no idea how proud I am, and to call you my friends, because for me, boxing is like a family reunion. Thank you so much for everything that you do, Graciela. You nailed the Hall of Famer. I mean, what can I tell you? I mean, you nailed it. A Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm just so happy for all your achievements, Marta. What can I tell you? A heavyweight champion, WBC. I just can't take it.
WBC,
Oh,
baby.
God. You're like so unbelievable. My sister Brenda, it's just like non-stop going on. What are we doing? This is what we're gonna do. We as a team, we as a friend, we as a boxing team, we as a females boxing. Yes. And Sakura, thank you so much for everything that you do. Encourage, positive. Thank you so much for everything. Guys, I work for CNN, so I really have to go now. I was doing my quick stop. Talk to you later. We'll make some time. I'm here at the main office, so I gotta go now. Love you, ladies.
All right, have a great
Bye.
day.
So nice to see you.
Bye. So yes, that's I'm continuing what she said, building a community, building each other up, women supporting women. It's so important that we need to support each other. And something else that to add on what Graciela was saying, walk with confidence. That's one of the things I grew growing up in Mexico. You always have all this, and have to, family, big family as well. So you have to walk at night by yourself. So you always, one of the things I remember when my PE teacher was like, chest out, walk with confidence, look at their eyes, and not like, hey, what the heck, what you want, but you're not gonna take me. We're gonna go down. And then the element of surprise is so important. That's hey, I don't want to fight, but boom, I'm out of here and start running.
You know what? My grandma used to always say, if all else fails, baby, grab him by the They'll stop whatever they're trying to do.
Yes.
And that's words I've lived by. I know for a fact it works. But definitely it's a mental game, as she's saying, where you need to be aware. And I've been guilty of walking and texting at the same time and then bumping into somebody. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is a beautiful day in Florida. And I put that phone, I throw it in my purse like, no. We are not going to let the day pass by. And I'm not even like engaging in enjoying what God has put out there for us. So it's a lovely lesson, just, for your mentality to be appreciative and stay in the moment. And that way you can actually be aware of what's going on around you too. Just by putting that phone back into the purse, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or in your back pocket. It helps. All right, ladies, I've enjoyed all of you so much, and I hope that we can do it soon again and have Dalia join us for more than just a few minutes. But definitely our takeaways for tonight is to know how to defend yourself. Always be ready, right, Olga, for any opportunities that might come your way. And definitely mentally be prepared for the fact that you could have to actually, defend yourself out in public somewhere. Or sometimes it's even at home. You have to make sure that you are always aware. Martha, we thank you so much for everything that you've done for the sport of boxing. And of course, I requested to have you on here because I just think you're just like an amazing person, and you volunteer, you offer yourself still to all these young ladies. Olga, I appreciate you as well as a motivational speaker and being able to help women now know to be proud and stand tall. Brenda, you, of course, putting all this together and making sure everybody's on time, getting on my case. Lord have mercy. And Graciela, of course, we enjoyed all of your stories and everything that you've offered, as well as being able to help women defend themselves nowadays, too. So thank you all so much. And please, everybody that's watching, make sure you sign up and go on each of their, social medias and follow them as well. Thanks so much. This has been Boxing Playhouse.
All right, hey, Graciela, what's the name of the book?
Yes, buy the book, The Lioness Within.
Okay,
Thank
you.
The Lioness That's Within. That's the book.
The Lioness.
Sweet.
All right. Please make sure you grab a copy of Olga's book as well. This is Women's History Month, baby. And we did it big, as we intend to keep doing, because every month is really ladies' night. At least that's what I tell my man.
It is.
All right, ladies. Enjoy your night. Thanks so much again.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
It was an honor. Thank you.
I'm very surgical, physical when I'm lyrical. So bad it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights for some spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally